Hello and welcome to another episode on the YouTube channel. It's really wonderful to be with you. My name is Dean Cothill and excited to dive straight into today's YouTube video. ChatGPT, sermon prep and how to curate the perfect message has become part of every pastor's life and the Sundays just keep on coming. About 15 years ago, I would have sat down in front of a piece of paper with a bunch of books around me. I would pick up one of these, couple of these. I would find all of my little Bible translations that I could. I'd have a few notepads out. I'd do a little bit of research. I'm a theology nerd, and so I'd kind of dive into a little bit of this. And then I would probably find a concordance and have a look at how certain words match up with other words. But then came along Google. And Google helped me figure out how to ask questions to this Google search engine in terms of finding key verses, finding key ideas, going down Bible Gateway, comparing versions, copy and pasting into Word documents, and creating these messages and these sermons digitally. And all of a sudden, before we all knew it, we were all using iPads and Kindles and no longer really needed the hard copies. We didn't need to carry this stuff around anymore because on our mobile phones, we were able to do all of that stuff at the drop of a hat. 2023 has introduced ChatGPT to all of us. What I'm going to do today is show two examples looking at the idea of Psalm 23. In the past, I would have pulled out my Bible, I would have pulled out my NIV study Bible, and I would have done a deep dive into Psalm 23, who wrote it, when it was written, what does it mean for somebody to be a shepherd, and what does it mean for God or Jesus to be a good shepherd. Introducing ChatGPT to us, we can ask some good questions, some key questions. And among the incredible things that Jesus has taught us as followers of Jesus is really how to ask good questions. And so really from the outset, I hope that you can relax and take a deep breath as we begin to have a look at AI and what AI is. And I really hope that you can see that AI is the best version of an assistant that you could ever hope for, if we are willing to learn how to ask good questions. The better the questions, the better the answers ChatGPT would give us. And we actually know this. We can see it in Jesus' teachings in terms of the questions that he asks people to activate certain things in their lives, and the way we ask questions to people activates a particular set of ideas in people. And we even know this when it comes to kids, about what it means to get certain ideas out of kids. We have to ask them a particular set of questions. So we're going to dive into Google and we're going to dive into ChatGPT and see how these two ideas can help us when it comes to prepping our sermons. Let's dive straight in. So let's dive straight into it. As you can see, I've got Google open, and like I said, we're going to jump straight into Psalm 23. You'll then see that Bible Gateway comes up here, and we get some basic information right at the top. And so as we go into Bible Gateway, we should all be quite familiar with using Bible Gateway for the verses that we're looking for, whether other passages, whether a Google searching a particular idea usually leads us here. You'll then on the right hand side here begin to see that you've got your various translations available to you. So as you read through Psalm 23, there are going to be a few ideas that might stick out for you depending on the type of message that you would like to communicate to your audience. And so you'll begin to highlight the various pieces that you want to focus on. And as you go through that, you take notes of those and you copy and paste as you usually would into your preferred word formatting program. As we jump to the top again, we maybe want to compare. So let's jump straight into the message and we'll search Eugene Peterson's The Message. And once again, we're having a look at Death Valley, or the darkest valley. You served me a 6-course dinner in front of my enemies. And in verse 6, your beauty and your love chase after me. Once again, we're copying and we're pasting and we're putting into our word formatting program. So we'll do one more for fun and games, and we'll have a look at the New Living Translation. And we'll search once again, and again we will do the same thing. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. We'll begin to then take note of some of the things that we want to focus on. We'll then take notice of some of the key ideas that we want to write down. And once again, we'll go to our word formatting program and we'll do that. We'll then be good theologians, we'll be good Christians, and we'll begin to identify how Good Shepherd lines up with Jesus in the New Testament. So we'll go Jesus as Shepherd here in Google, and that'll take us straight to, you guessed it, John chapter 10. We'll then see that Google gives us a couple of key ideas here around what other people are also asking. So that's good note to take. These are questions that people are asking. And what does the Bible say about Jesus being a shepherd? And here we will get a good idea. We'll then go a little bit further down. What are the characteristics of Jesus as a shepherd? We can then search a little bit more. Why is Jesus shown as a shepherd? And you'll begin to see 8 verses about Christ. You'll begin to see that there are key ideas here that you will then want to begin to focus on depending on the message that you are constructing or curating. And once again, you will do similar things. So you'll see that we found ourselves in John chapter 10. So we can go back to Bible Gateway and we can do the same thing. So we're going to go John chapter 10. And once again, you will begin to have a look at the key ideas that stand out for you. They won't follow a stranger. They will run from him because they don't know his voice, for example. And you will copy and paste into your preferred word formatting documents. And once again, you can have a look at the various translations that you would like to focus on, depending on how you would like to do that. As you continue to read and as you continue to do a little bit of research, some prayer goes into this, and you begin to formulate what your message will look like. You then will start to think about 3 key ideas that you might want to share with your audience. And then you really take it from there in terms of wrapping up the message with your key verses, your key scriptures, with those 3 points that everybody will take home with them at the end of the day. Let's jump straight into ChatGPT. We're going to ask, what is Psalm 23? Now, like I said in the introduction to this video, ChatGPT is your perfect assistant. And not only your perfect assistant, it is you as an assistant. So the assistant is going to give us the questions that we ask it as best as the questions are asked. So what is Psalm 23? And it gives us a decent little breakdown about what it is. So let's maybe ask, who wrote Psalm 23? We'll get some information here about David. We can maybe then ask, when was Psalm 23 written? Once again, depending on the information that you are looking for, these are the types of questions that you should traditionally begin to ask the ChatGPT to assist you with. And so you'll begin to see that the information will come through, and these are the key ideas that we'll then begin to look for. So maybe we then want to find out, maybe let's compare 3 different Bible translations of Psalm 23, and let's see what ChatGPT says. So what are the main differences of NIV, the Message, and NLT translations of Psalm 23? And you'll begin to see that ChatGPT will try and give us information around the question that we have asked. So we've asked who wrote it, when was it written, what is Psalm 23? We're now asking what are the main differences of NIV, the Message, and the NLT. And I can see there that I even made a mistake, but ChatGPT is diving straight in there to help me with the New Living Translation. Now we're getting a breakdown of what these 3 translations are and what the differences are in these 3 pieces. We're now going to ask, what are the 3 main points of Psalm 23? As we begin to deep dive a little bit into Psalm 23, we begin to have a look at what the main or the key ideas are in Psalm 23. So we can see there, number 1, God is a good shepherd. 2, trust in God's providence. And number 3, confidence in God's protection and provision. you'll see that already there should be some sparks flying in your mind and in your heart as you prepare the sermon for this weekend or an upcoming series, whatever it may be. You can see that the questions that we ask ChatGPT as an input are very, very important for the output that we will actually receive from ChatGPT. So we'll have a look at, maybe we want to ask what type of person needs to hear Psalm 23. And maybe we want to identify what our audience looks like. So we're taking this a little bit of a step further now. We're trying to take this further into the hearts and the minds of the people who might need to hear this. And already you can see those who are struggling with fear and worry and anxiety, those who are going through a difficult time or facing personal crisis. You can see that already ChatGPT is diving into what Psalm 23 is and who potentially needs to hear it. And so we can maybe say, as we go into the New Testament, like we did previously with Google, we can maybe ask, why was Jesus a good shepherd? And once again, it will dive into the New Testament, it will dive into Christianity. You can see there, because of teachings and actions described in the New Testament, according to the Bible, Jesus likened himself to a shepherd who cares for and protects his sheep. You can see that Jesus' teachings and miracles demonstrated his compassion, love, and concern for people's well-being. ChatGPT is this assistant that guides you in your questioning of, in this case, Psalm 23. And so we can wrap this up by going, what are 3 key points to Jesus being a good shepherd? And once again, it is very, very, very quickly going to put together 3 key points for us around Jesus as the good shepherd in Christianity. And you can see here, number 1, love and sacrifice. Number 2, compassion and care. And number 3, leadership and guidance. And then let's try for fun and games and see if ChatGPT can help us. Can these 3 points be alliterated? And ChatGPT is going to dive straight in and do its best to alliterate these 3 key points of Jesus being a good shepherd: love and leadership, care and compassion. And number 3, sacrifice and salvation. ChatGPT is an incredibly powerful tool that is able to guide and assist us in our message prep, in our sermon prep, whether it is sermon series. ChatGPT is able to help us and guide us and really be a tool in our little arsenal of what it means to communicate to people. I believe that ChatGPT can really be a powerful tool to help us as we go into 2023 and navigate what it means to teach our congregations and our communities, whether online or in person. I really hope that you found this video helpful. Please hit the subscribe button if you did, and come along for the ride. Please give it a thumbs up in the like section, and look forward to sharing another video with you tomorrow.